Hello everyone. In this short video, I want to show you a couple of things that came up in sketching when I was teaching my SolidWorks class today. I thought maybe I share it with you. So the first one is, as you have done a linear or circular pattern in sketch in SolidWorks, you see that even if the part of the sketch that you want to pattern, you want to repeat is fully defined, right? When you do a pattern of that, the rest of the pattern will not be fully defined. You might say, what do you mean? So let's say here I want to repeat this circle. So I pick it and go to linear pattern. And let's say here I want this to go along the X direction by a distance of 1 inch. And I want to repeat, let's say, 4 of that. Then in the Y direction, I want to do 2 of that. And again, I want to go by an inch. Right? Something like this, okay? So if I go ahead and okay this, look, you see that these 8, the rest of them, these 7, they are not fully defined. And the sketch is underdefined. And can I grab this and move it? Yes, I can. So why is it that it's not fully defined, although it should be, because I provided the distances and the spacing, the distances or the spacing and the number of them, right? And ideally, each and every one of them should be perfectly defined, especially because this is X direction and this is Y direction, right? So if I click on this direction and say, hey, force this to be horizontal, so that is definitely a horizontal direction and this is vertical, you see still no difference, right? So how can I force it to be fully defined? So let me show you that. All you need is to ask it to show all of the dimensions and the information. So click back again here, go to the linear sketch, and then check mark this dimension X spacing, and once you do Y, make sure you also check mark the dimension Y spacing and the number of counts. So make sure it shows everything, okay? And so here I go with 1 and 4, and here I go with 1 and 2, right? So it's the exact same thing. I'm just asking it to show all of this information, and I okay that, and look, here we go, fully defined. Okay, so that's one of the things that came up, and I wanted to show you that. The other thing is, one of my students said, how do I get back the window that we just had, right? This window, look, this one. How do I get this back and edit some of these numbers or something, right? So if I had that like this and I decide that I want to change something, how can I do that? Well, most of the information that you need are here. For instance, here you know that you have 4 of them and you have 2 of them, and then this is a 1 and this is a 1, right? So if you want to modify, you can just modify these 2 distances and these 2 number of parts in each direction. But if you forgot to have those, right? If you forgot to have those, let me show you. So if I go back here and do a repeat and not show any of these information here, okay? So none of those I'm showing, like this again, right? If I go back, I don't have any of those information. So I cannot click on anything and change it. Can I still get that window back and modify it, or I have to redo the whole thing? No, you can still go back and modify it. You can still open that window. Where? So if I click on each one of these, it gives me this green pattern symbol. If I double click on this green symbol, it brings back that pattern, and now you can right click on the pattern and say edit pattern. And there we go. That's that window back. So if you want to make it like 3, right? And 2, there we go. Here you have it. So modifying a pattern after it has been created and making a pattern what? Fully defined. And before I finish this video, I want to show you an example of a circular pattern. So here I want to repeat this circle here, right? Which is right above the origin, and the center of it is on this construction circle. So if I want to repeat that, look here, I click and then I go to a circular pattern. And again, So here I want the center to be origin. I want 4 of that. I can make them equal spacing, or you might say, well, if you want to make it fully defined, make sure that it shows all of this information. Fine. So let me show the radial distance, right? And let it show the angle and the number and everything. Now, remember that between equal spacing and dimension angular spacing, you can only pick one of them. So here I picked that. So all the information is there. And you expect that if I say okay, all of these other 3 circles are going to be black, right? Fully defined. Let's see. And guess what? It doesn't. And you might say, why? What is going on? I mean, like, this should be fully defined at this moment. I'm showing the 4. I'm showing the 90 degrees. I'm showing this radial distance of 2.5. So ideally, these 3 other circles should be perfectly defined. What is dangling here? Well, if you grab one of these circles, you can see what's dangling. You see, it's basically one of these lines have to be vertical or horizontal, or one of these centers. So all I need to do here is click on this and force this to be vertical, just like that. Done. Fully defined. So when I force this, because here you don't have X and Y direction. So now that I force this line to be perfectly vertical, the rest of it is absolutely fully defined, and that's how we can do a circular pattern. So hopefully this video was useful to you. You learned some of these small knacks and things that you might need when dealing with patterns in SolidWorks. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.